We should also go live on Facebook. It's your guy.
Yeah, it is his way. You can't disturb it. We will figure out something about that. Yeah. It's Generation Next, and of course, we are back yet again. I would be succumb to say no comment because we were to start sharply, but due to some technicalities, we are starting this late. Apologies once again for that. So I'm here. It's your girl Sarah. I'm sure you've missed me. I can't. It's like 2 months, I guess. Mohammed may be able to rectify me on that. That you've not seen my face. It's because yeah, I was on exam, so I couldn't grace the occasion. However, I've been missing you guys. You know, whenever I sit here, I always mention that I get excited. So yes, it's Generation Next. Of course, you know our main motive is to inspire. However, to make it in a more reformed and beautiful way, we are a youth movement platform geared towards inspiring, motivating, and directing young people's participation towards responsibilities in a developing society. We are working to raise awareness on issues and challenges that the youth are faced with in order to effect a positive change. Generation Next, you know that our we've so far been engaged in two various sessions when it comes to our programming. One which is done every fortnight of the month, and that is the one-on-one exclusive. But also we have the general forum as well. And I'm sure
Right.
you've been following. You will see Mohammed's face, but also you will see SBI, who has been inspiring us all this while. Thank you so much, SBI, for that. So today we decided to come over here because usually what we do is we try to bring in young people who have excelled in their various domains to actually help to push us, because I always mention here, and Muhammad of course always mentioned that in life challenges are part of life. So obviously it's only natural that we are faced with challenges on our daily basis. So we accept those challenges and overcome them, and still we pursue what we look towards achieving. So today, I decided to come over here with Mohammed, and just so we could reflect on or flashback on the year 2022, but also look at plans we have ahead for 2023. Because as you may know, we are about to bid farewell to 2022, and I think it's important that at this stage in time that we sit and reflect and look at some of the things that we've planned before, and we're thinking that at least by 2023 we should have achieved those things. But of course, due to one or two things, perhaps it has not been materialized. So I think it's necessary that Mohammed and I are here today, just so we can look at some of those things and see ways in which we can better ourselves. It's all about betterment, and we always hear regarding anything that has to do with motivating, inspiring, but making sure that we unite to be one and unite to be better. So the topic today, the topic of discussion is going to be flashback of 2022 and plans ahead for 2023. So if you're joining us now, I would love for you to perhaps, send us a message on what your flashback were, and what you're looking towards achieving for 2023, because the year is fast approaching. We are in December now, and I'm sure today is the what? Today is the 24th December. So the year is already gone. It's important that we come up with New Year's resolutions. Oftentimes you hear people tell you that my New Year's resolution for the coming year It's I want to achieve this, I want to get this, I want to make sure that perhaps for those of us that are single would say I want to get married by the year 2023. So these are visions, these are goals, or these are targets we place upon ourselves. But how far do we go on achieving this plan? What strategies, what priorities, what efforts do we put in making sure that some of these targets that we put for the coming year are achieved? I think it's important. And today we will be very excited to talk to you what we believe or what we resonate, that may be one or two things that could hinder that that would hinder you from achieving that goal that you set for yourself. So before I introduce or let Mohammed come in, perhaps I could give you a glimpse of what we will be talking about, and right after that I'll introduce or let Mohammed come in and at least say hello, hi. So some of the factors that we think are responsible in making us not achieve some of the targets that we may have set for ourselves for the year ahead, I believe, has to do with number one, fear. And besides fear, also doubt. I think these are key factors that often us, especially the young people, are challenged with. But of course, not only young people, even some elders are challenged with, but we are looking at it from a young people perspective. So fear, doubt, we talk about being envious, envy as well. You know, we talk about being jealous, jealousy. We also talk about self-care and self-love. So these are some of the things that we will look at and delve in full, in depth. So at this point, let me let Mohammed to at least come in and say hello, hi. Mohammed, it's a pleasure actually to actually come over here again and continue the motivation, continue the inspiration.
Thank you very much, Tira. It's a pleasure to be on this platform once again, Generation Next. I'm so excited that you are back from that exam break that you took. You know, we're definitely new. A lot of fans that are asking us, where is Tira? She's not been coming. And I'm glad that you're back again. So thank you very much. And of course, as you said, Generation Next, we're here to come and discuss. First of all, let me just apologize. My background is a bit noisy. I'll try to see how I can control that. I hope it's not feeding back to the conversation that we're going to have, but if not, it's going to be great. So, Stira, thank you very much once again. We're very happy that you come back from that holidays or that break that you took to have yourself prepared for the exam, and that was great. So, as you rightly mentioned, today we just want to do some reflection of the year 2022 and also prepare ourselves well for the year coming 2023, and look at the plans ahead and what are some of the objectives that we need to or want to set for ourselves in the year coming. So this is going to be an interesting conversation, interesting topic, given the circumstances that we have as the flashback of 2022 and of course plans ahead. And few things that you already mentioned that make us to have some setbacks, which you said fear and also self-doubt. And these are obvious things. Anything that you want to do in life and then you have fear about it, obviously it's going to stop you from pursuing because of the fact that you're fearful. What is going to happen next? What if I do this? And then you are having that contemplation in your mind. It's going to stop you from doing it. At the same time, if you doubt yourself that you can do it, nothing can make you do it because already you are not motivating yourself. So you have to be your first mover. Before anybody can be able to convince you, you have to be ready to convince yourself to do anything. That way, it will make it possible for you.
Exactly. I'm happy that you were quick to pick on that and elaborate on fear, but also on doubt. I think these are critical key issues, and anybody who is watching this would definitely not, these words are not unfamiliar. These are familiar words, and anyone that you speak to, even before anybody begins to do anything, the first thing that they tell you is like, I think I'm a bit fearful. So we often undergo such. And just to give a brief narration from its origin context of what fear may be meant to be from my little research. And what I've got is like fear is an unpleasant emotion caused by anticipation or awareness of danger. Normally, the brain is very, very critical because usually when you are approaching any from a danger point of view, when you are to approach any sort of a danger, your brain is quick to tell you that this zone that you're going in is a danger zone. So quickly you would kind of feel it. It's like an emotion that quickly within the glimpse of an eye comes to you. So normally the brain is set in such a critical manner that from a danger point of view, you're quickly able to resonate with danger. But also oftentimes when you plan on doing anything, for instance, maybe you may say that, yes, so my plan for this year, for this coming year, would be perhaps number one, to work on my public speaking. It could be. So literally, oftentimes we find ourselves where if we more or less anticipate that we would be staging any event, we'll be, perhaps it could be hosting any event or emceeing any event, or perhaps even sitting on this platform. Oftentimes you would, because your brain is not used to that. So within the glimpse of an eye, your head will signal you and you begin to feel unease. You begin to have this unpleasant feeling, you know, and then
I mean, just like you said, I have approached a lot of people, you know, to feature them on this platform. And what they would tell me that, hey, me, I can't do it. I cannot speak in the public. I'm not able to do it. I say, listen, this is like a conversation, okay? When you are on this platform, just imagine that you're going to have a conversation with me. You're going to have a conversation with the presenter. That is how you take it. You know, fear is something, if you don't take it out of your mind, it is always going to stop you from doing what you have the potential to do. You understand? Just like you just mentioned. And if you look at the letters, if you spell fear, each of the letters, if you want to tell what it means as it relates to fear, it means false evidence appearing as real. So if you look at that, whatever it is that you are fearful, it's the false evidence that appears to you as this is real. I can't do it. And then who is going to convince you to do it? If you believe that you cannot do it, you're not able to do anything at all because of the fear, you will not be able to do it. So you have to cut that barrier of fear in your mind, in your head, in your thoughts, that everything is possible in this life. Anything you want to do, as far as you are concerned, it is possible. It only needs patience. It only needs some time to work on it and then achieve it. All right. So I'm hoping that next, when we approach people to come and be featured on Generation Next and share their stories and to help inspire others, they will not have that fear in their mind of, oh my God, I'm going to talk to people out there. People are going to watch me. And what are they going to say? What if I got a mistake and all? I mean, this part of life is a process. Right? Even us here, man, it doesn't mean we are the best of it. We have conquered our fear. We fought our fear to be able to talk to you, to be able to speak out there in the public. Not as if we're fearless. We all have fear, but we are able to challenge ourselves and deal with the fear that we have and be able to achieve what we can achieve in this life, right?
Yes, right. And you know what's interesting? I have a question for you, but I would firstly say this before I send the question across. You know, oftentimes what I find really, really daunting or interesting is, you see, the brain is such a critical being, in a sense that what you think of would eventually be the reality. Because if you are visioning now that you would have to stand in public or you would have to do a particular thing that your brain is not used to doing, of course, that in itself, it's being fearful. But because you're thinking of what are some of the negative impact that may come out of it. Now, for the mere fact that you're thinking of some of those negative impacts, immediately what it does is it becomes reality.
Right.
It becomes reality because the moment you begin to pinpoint, okay, if I should stand there, I might make a mistake. I might say a blunder. I might freeze. I might not know what to say. So literally at that point, what your brain is too busy looking at some of those negative impacts that may happen or that could happen. And eventually, because you're thinking about it, it would happen. Remember the law of attraction. What you believe is what you become. And what you expect is what you attract. So it's important
Absolutely.
that we don't look at things in that regard, in that perspective, because once you do that, it becomes a problem. Of course, in as much as you're able to look at the negative impact, I think it's also imperative that you also look at the positive impact. Okay, I can do it. I can go over there, although it's my first time doing it, but I know I can learn. I know we've got the internet, we've got people who are experienced in that domain. Go ask, find out. So it's a matter of finding out to make sure that you get it right. And I'm sure if you think in that regard also, what it would do is it would come to reality. That is, you can do it, and you would definitely do it.
Right.
Mohammed, I want to before you come in, I have a scenario in that regard. This is myself. And
Okay.
I'm sure I've never said this, but it's important that I do. So it was
All right.
me being challenged to do MC. I've never done MC, I don't know how MC is like. Now, of course, to a certain point, I was like, I can do it. But deep inside, I was really scared. I'm saying I can do it, and I'm like, I'm really scared. So what happened was, I got to the podium. I was, everybody was seated, and it was now me to kick off and show who I really was when it comes to MC. Like I said, it was my first time, and I did blunders.
Wow.
I absolutely did blunders. Absolutely, because I was really nervous already. I was like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. So I was having this fear effect inside me. I went over there, I did blunders, but I also believe that to every blunder that you do, there should be a seed of success. What do I mean by this? Is you try to understand, okay, this is how I did it, and it did not work when I did it. This is what
Right.
I did blunders, but because I want to grow, what have I learned
Yeah.
from it? Because at that instant, you would have known where you have gone wrong, and you would have known if you were to do it again. That is, provided you want to do it again, what would be some
Right.
of the things that I need to work on? At this stage, I tell you, I have already identified what was the reason that I made that blunder. And now what do I need to work on to make sure that when it happens again, I wouldn't make that blunder? Because already I believe in my capabilities. I know I've got what it takes. I know I got the qualities of what it takes to do that presentation. But because I was fearful, it did not materialize. I was already having all of those negative things in my head. That is my resonation of what we are talking about is, and from my experience, right? Now, my question to you, Mohammed, would be, how would one overcome fear? Because if you're already fearful about something, deep inside you're like, yes, I want to do it, but you're still super fearful. How would you then overcome that fear? What are some of the things you need to do to overcome that?
Right. Thank you very much, Sarah. And I just put this in a simple term for you. There is this thing saying that one who believes that he can't and one who believes that he can are both right. You understand? Now, if you believe that you can do something, nothing stops you from doing that. But the moment you believe that you cannot do it, nothing can make you do it, because already you believe that you cannot do it. So the first thing to make you conquer your fear is that do not doubt yourself, and do not have that skeptic mind that, no, I can't do it, I'm not able to do it. The moment you are asked to do anything, or asked to, like you have become, you've been asked to be an MC, and that was your first time being an MC, you have self-doubt at that point, and that has an impact. It has made you to make mistakes. However, because of those mistakes, if you leave it at that, that mistake will continue. It's going to go on forever. But if you learn from those mistakes and then work on those mistakes that you've made, the next time you become an MC, you will be better than you had previously. That is how you make progress in life. All right. So do not think that anybody that is doing perfectly, they are able to get it from the first time. No. All right. They may have made some mistakes, which help them to prepare themselves better for the next time they're given a next opportunity to do. So do not bring the energy of fear in anything that you are asked to do or preparing to do, be it exams, be it your next job interview, be it anything else that you're preparing yourself for. Even if you're called to do a public speak, it's not, nobody is born to become a public speaker. It's a practice. It's the preparedness of your mind that helps you to become a public speaker, to be able to send messages across. And then you are able to fight that fear of seeing a crowd before you and then the anxiety it creates in you, you're able to overcome that. So in a simple term, Sira, to be able to fight fear is in itself, first of all, do not be fearful of anything. Because like I said, if you look at fear itself, it means it is false evidence appearing as real. And if false evidence is appearing as real, you accept it as real, so it is. But if you take it as this is false, then it is definitely false, right? I hope I was able to
Yeah.
say something about your picture of that.
Yeah, obviously. I'm happy that you sent that across. It's not, when we sit here, we make it look easy. But the reality is it's never easy. Remember, it's never easy until it's done. Now, when it's done, then you can sit comfortably and you're like, okay, I was thinking that it's that hard, but now it's done and I feel as if I've done nothing. So that is to say that it's natural that we all undergo fear. Trust me. Even Barack Obama, people will talk about, would undergo fear before you stage anything. It's natural because it's human. It's only human that you get that fear.
It's very normal. It's very normal.
It's very normal.
But
so,
don't let it break you down. Don't let it stop you from doing what is expected, what you're supposed to do.
Exactly.
The moment it stops you, then it's a problem in itself, right?
Yeah. Exactly. So I'm happy that we've dealt on that. So like Mohammed says, don't let that stop you. And if you feel the need to consult certain people, just so you're able to better yourself. Because remember, you are your biggest challenge. Because perhaps it could be that you set your agenda, you set your plans, you set your goals, but also it's important that you work towards achieving them. You don't just want to set goals and leave them lying down like that. A white elephant. You don't want to do that. So I encourage us all, especially us the young people, because we are looking at it from that light. I encourage us all to put in the effort, practice. It's also important that you go online, look for public speakers, watch a public space where you have speakers speaking. Look for those things and do your research. Try to perfect yourself. But how do you perfect yourself? You perfect yourself by practicing. So if the opportunity arises where you have to go and stand in public and speak, perhaps it may be your first time. It may even be your second time. Don't refute. You don't have to refute. You have to give it a go. The fear will still be there, but give it a go. Now, one thing from experience as well, it doesn't just mean you need to give it a go, but it means you have to go and put in the effort, put in the work. What do I mean? Go do your research. If you're going to speak on any topic, it's a challenge for you. Go make sure you get your facts right? Like Ustaz Modou Fall, I'm a fan of Ustaz Modou Fall, and he would say, because Senegal, of course, whenever he says like Senegal, so he would address it in that domain, but also say that before you speak out, you have to close yourself and make sure that what you're saying, you know it. Ask if the need may be. So try to do your research, understand what you're saying. So when you stand over there, regardless of the fear, you will still at least do your best. It's important. So in the light of fear, we also talk about doubt. I think these are intertwined. And when we talk about doubt, we say this is the inability to make a decision. It relates to fear again. And when we talk about it, it has to do with lack of sureness about someone or something. So it still boils down to being fearful, being able to make a decision. Hence you've set your goals. It's now your duty to make a decision. Okay, this I want to achieve. It's a decision that you're making. That I want to make sure that by the year 2023, either you're looking for a new job, either you've been sending applications and you've never been called. You don't have to stop. Continue sending applications. When the time is right, surely you would be called. Either you're working on a project and you feel that it's not going right, just continue. Make sure, like I said, you identify some of the things that would make it right and still forge ahead. It's about being persistent, Mohammed. Generation Next, that is what we are trying to encourage, and you would realize that we are being persistent. So the little things matters, but with persistency, you would see it would go the extra miles. So it's not about the big thing you do a day. It's about the persistency. So try making a decision. Yes, you've come up with resolutions. I want to make sure that I achieve my education. Sorry, maybe you can say I want to make sure, because education may be vague. You may say I want to make sure that I achieve my degree. I want to make sure that I pass my diploma 2022. So you don't just say it and let it lie down. You say it to energize you, to motivate you, and then you go, you make sure you get it. So I always say excuses. Yes, sometimes who are you to tell of someone's position? You only know of your position. You can only best tell of your position. So I think it's key and it's imperative. Mohammed, let me let you say something.
Yeah, thank you very much. As you also said about doubt, if there is a recipe for failure, I would say doubt is one of the recipes for one to be a failure in life. Because anything in this life, if you don't believe in it, forget it. You know, it's not gonna work. So if you have self doubt in yourself, start working on it. Do not be doubtful about anything you want to do. Like we mentioned about fear. These are basically almost the same thing that we are talking about. Doubt is where you are able to look at yourself and say, no, man, I don't think I can be able to, because I don't have that ability. I don't have that capability. I don't have, you're just not motivating yourself. You're not helping yourself to stand out and then be in a position to be able to say, yes, it's possible. All right. And the moment you're not doing that, then you are not ready to progress in life because you have to be able to be thinking progressively. And that includes believing yourself. You understand? You have to believe in yourself. Once you believe in yourself, then you will be able to achieve and do whatever it is that is going to help you to move to the next level. And progress is in oneself, right? People can help you go through. People can push you to go through. But the moment you're not ready, you're still doubting yourself. That is how far you can be. You can't be able to make progress by doubting yourself. You must believe in yourself and know that whatever it is that is ahead of you, yes, I can achieve it. I'm going to work hard. I'm going to work on this, and this is how I'm going to do to get to that point. That is my target. That is my objective. That is my focus. You will be able to progress in that direction. Yeah. So um, doubt it's an enemy to any human being. Be someone who doesn't doubt yourself. If you're given an opportunity to make presentations, if you're given an opportunity to have an impact, if you're given anywhere that people said, okay, I think you can, and then you're like, oh no, I don't think I can, then that's the problem. Because you wouldn't be able to, because you've already doubted yourself,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly. Yeah. It's important that you brought more light on that. So I will repeat what I said again, a quote from Sam Adeyemi, that is, what you believe is what you become. So literally, when you doubt yourself, you become your challenge, your biggest challenge. We do say that the environment that we grow in would then help to shape who we become in the future.
Right.
So if people are there thinking that you're gonna fail, that is people. That is people,
Yeah.
and this is an external affluence to you. It has no internal effect to you. So the internal effect of you doubting yourself is internal, and that's you. And you, who are you? You are you. You are the very person that would bring about that alignment effect. So if you doubt yourself, so you are not actually killing yourself. You're actually telling yourself that you're brought onto this earth, and even animals are better. Sorry for using that, but perhaps animals
So
may have an objective and
so you
wouldn't
see,
doubt
you see,
themselves.
you see in this life, whatever it is that people say or do about you or say about you, all right, only makes an impact if you accept it. You understand? All right? You don't have controls of or on what people will say about you. You don't have control over that. What you have control over is your reaction to what people say. If you take it well and good, that is it. It becomes well and good for you. But if you take it otherwise, then it is otherwise for you. So regardless of what people say, if it is a negative impact, how you react to that matters a lot because your reaction is the implication of your actions. You understand? Whatever you react to, it implies how your actions will be towards that direction. So I mean, um, take it as a feedback. For example, if it is people are criticizing you or saying things about you, just take it as a feedback and leave it at that. Perhaps you can take it as a learning point and see how you can improve yourself if it means for you to improve yourself. But do not take it to say, okay, you're also going to fight back, or you're also going to do things to challenge, and then you will waste all your youthful time, waste all your benefits in terms of the resources that you're supposed to have in that period on things that will not pay relevance to you or add dividends to you, but only to set you back. So this is something that is very important in one's life. Your reaction to every situation that arises is number one. It's very key. You know, take it positively. Everything that happens to you, just see it as a positive impact. And then if it's a learning point, just learn from it, highlight the mistakes, learn from those mistakes, and work on those mistakes to become better of tomorrow. Because you are guided, or you are the representation of whatever it is that you are doing and reacting on. Yeah.
Yes. So yeah, that's very, very key. And in achieving that, it's important that you sort of come with your priority. What is your priority? Try to understand what are there are many. What are my priorities? But per se, I would say my priority would be communicating. When I say communicating, it has to do with what I'm doing right now. That is trying to inspire from afar, but also trying to inspire from within. It's key, is important. So I try to do this every single day. Okay, I can share maybe what my New Year's resolution was for 2022. Of course, I remember vividly. Of course, others would say it's important that you jot down, you journal. I don't believe so much in journaling. We're all different. It's important you journal, because when you do journal, perhaps certain things wouldn't escape you. It's important.
Yeah.
That I'm
At least you can be able to think back and say, okay, this one is done. I'm
This
still pending on something else. Yeah,
Yes.
it will be helpful.
It will be very helpful. Oftentimes, I tend to depend on my brain a lot. It does not always work, but I'm able to remember one or two things. And I remember when I said to myself that I think it's high time that I achieved or pursued my education to its to its highest. What do I mean by this? To make sure that I get my diploma in journalism, because that's what I've been doing. Diploma in journalism, but also to make sure I get to the university. Because then perhaps I was in a domain that I enjoyed so much, the environment that I was in. And when I finished my grade 12, I was like, oh yeah, I should be fine, you know. Although I did few courses, but I wasn't too serious when it comes to my education. And I was like, it's high time that I batch my diploma in journalism. It's high time that I see myself at the university, at least get my degree. And this I've worked on. I must tell you that, of course, because I didn't have the direct flight to the university. So what I did was I enlisted on the access program, the university access program. And alhamdulillah, I've done my exam now. I'm waiting for my results. And hopefully, inshallah, I should be able to see myself. So this is to tell you how far I've gone. You see how far I've gone? And I every day constantly remind myself, but it's not easy. This is what I want, what I want everybody, every single youth to know. You may think that you're into something and it's never easy. Because of that, you give yourself excuses that I cannot do this because I'm engaged doing that. Could you believe I go to work? I make sure I get up early in the morning, and I believe everybody is going to work. It's being productive in what they do. But that's just to tell you a story, a part of my story, where I get up very early in the morning. Of course, I make sure I get to work on time. I make sure from work, I go to school, I close late, I get home late, I get really tired. This is extremely naked. You have to get up for studies. So all these things, a combination of not easy. But because what is my priority? My priority is that I've told myself, my education, I must get this by the end of this year. So I've given myself a target. And I'm making sure that regardless of what the other challenges, trust me, I am all the way at Oyundum. It's far, right? And I'm sure you know the headache we are facing. Now, because the road construction, dust everywhere. To have a car is a problem, it's a headache. This is a challenge I'm facing. I get home late. To have a car, you would stand there for hours before you have a car. Already you're angry, because that gets you really angry. But again, when I reflect and I said, okay, I know where I'm going. I have a target, and regardless of all these things are challenges, and challenges are part of life. So what I do is I take it in good faith. So you have to compromise one thing over the other. What are you compromising? Is it your good life? What do I mean by good life? Of course, at this stage, I want to go out, have fun. Yeah, I can't afford it. So I can go out, have fun, but I'm sacrificing that fun part of me. That's what I'm doing. I seldom go out. Well, perhaps the company I work for now, at this stage, I'm opportune to go to certain dinners or something. That is just dinner, and based on what the company I work for. But me personally, I don't have that time. It's not that I don't have the time, but I prioritize my education over that. So you have to prioritize something. You have to do that if you want to achieve your priority. So it's key, Mohammed. That is number one, batching my education. Number two is to be more accommodating. What do I mean by being more accommodating? Naturally, anybody who knows me knows that I am the type that always smiles. I am the type that
Yeah,
exactly.
I can vouch for that, right?
Exactly. So what I try doing is I try even being giving more smile. Sometimes it's not
Yeah.
even necessary. Sometimes you see me on the way and I smile. People who would see, they think, okay, is she okay? But why do I smile? I want that external being, that external effect I'm giving to reflect on me. Sometimes you can feel daunting from inside, but because you're giving that smile, it may at some point reflect, okay, since I'm giving that smile, I want my inside to be exactly as happy as I portray to be. It's important, of course, your outside will then reflect what your inside may be, but also what your inside maybe could definitely have a positive impact on what your outside could be. So it's important, and
Right.
I try as much as I could to work on these things, but also I try to listen more because I do more of talking. Anybody who knows me knows that I talk a lot. So so I'm sorry.
It's all right.
I'm sorry.
It shows that 2020 has definitely been a great year for you, because you, at least you've been able to cover some of those targets that you have set for yourself. Looking into 2023, you've already almost covered almost all the targets that you have set for yourself in terms of your education, for example. I remember you were telling me, Mohammed, I feel like I don't have enough sleep. When we were coming, I'm like, don't you go to sleep early? You said, yeah, but I sleep very early and then wake up very early as 3 a.m., start studying. I said, wow, okay. So nothing in life comes easy. It's like you have to sacrifice something to be able to get something in life. As you're doing today, you're cutting your sleeps, you're cutting so many other activities that you could be engaged in, but you know that there is big prize to achieve at the end of the day. So you have to prioritize yourself to be able to achieve what you have planned for yourself, what you want to achieve in life. So that's a good move, and I am proud of you in working on that, definitely. So that's a great one, and I believe a lot of other young people can also learn from this and also work on it. Try to prioritize yourself. Be do not be doing everything at the same time. Prioritize yourself. Do one thing after the other. If it's about education, focus on education. Prioritize your education. Everything else will come after. You know, as you can see, people have lived it and they have been an example of that. So you can also achieve. But the moment you want to mix and blend everything, you may be lucky to get it all, but many a times you may not even get any of those that you're blending. So there you go.
Yeah, it's important that you dwell on that also. It's key. You don't want to get yourself confused. Well, there's a saying that says, of course, in journalism term, it is said that master of none, no, jack of all trade. In journalism, it says jack of all trade, master of some. You can be a jack of all trade, but master of some. Now, in its general term, it may be jack of all trade, master of none, right? So it's also important that you try to figure out what it is that you're focusing on. It's about setting a target and knowing how best, okay, how well you get the target may not, or how you arrive sometimes may differ, but the most important thing is you arrive there, right? And if it
Absolutely.
requires you
Absolutely.
jumping one or two things or knocking head here and there, go ahead, girl, go ahead. Okay, so so I'm happy that we're talking in that.
So
Yeah.
yeah, before we also move on to other plans, for us in Generation Next, it's been a very fruitful year for us, I can say, because we're able to work on inspiring and motivating and directing young people's participation towards responsibility. I know we have had a lot of impacts in the society by giving out messages, sending out some thoughtful advices that really can change one's life. And we intend to continue doing this even more in the year coming, 2023. But we will also, of course, want you out there to tell us more. As Sira mentioned at the beginning of the year, currently our program schedules, we are doing 2 main activities. We have plans to do even more, but because of other engagements that the teams are, we're all from different backgrounds, working and engage in different activities. So sometimes we have that tight schedule to engage in a lot of activities that we had planned to do. Hopefully 2023 will help us to work on those plans, which also include school outreach programs, going to schools and do some outreach programs with the students directly, the younger generation, who are the generation next, can have a direct impact on the messages that we're doing. But as well as your feedback, include to us what you think we can include in our programming schedules in the year coming, 2023, and then what it is that we need to improve on, maybe our shortcomings, our mistakes, things that we need to work hard on to become better in the year 2023 coming, right? So we would like to hear from you people on that perspective as Generation Next, all right? This is also going to help us to include in our curriculum, in our activities, what next can we do to make it a better platform for you out there, right, Sarah? That is from the perspective of Generation Next, right?
Yeah. So it's we believe that dialogue is key, it's critical. It's through dialogue that so many problems could be upheld, so many problems could be stopped, of course, if not averted. So that's what we believe here at Generation Next, and that's our New Year's resolution, as Mohammed has clearly put it down. It's not about stopping here, just you seeing our faces and us talking. It's about getting out, doing community outreach is also important. And you talked about schools. We believe that schools are key elements through which you can inflict change. And remember, if you want to see change, you have to be the change that you wish to see. So because we want to see change in this very beautiful country called the Gambia, we are actually spearheading that. That's what we're doing. So it requires us sacrificing a lot, compromising a lot, and that's what we've been doing. Inshallah, we'll continue to do that until we see the change that we want to see. But remember, togetherness is important. Collectively, we can achieve it. That's what we believe. Thank you so much.
And because we are online, the impact is not just limited to only Gambia. It's as many as possible to reach young people across the globe, to make sure that whatever message is seen in this platform is able to have an impact to young people out there, obviously, because that is something that is our objective, that is our goal. Gambia being our home country, we started from the Gambia, and then that is how we're growing. But the objective is to grow bigger and bigger, to be able to impact as many as possible across the world.
Exactly. It always would have to start somewhere, and we're starting right here in Gambia, as you put it.
Indeed.
And so we are not confined. We are not in a sort of a bubble. We are no box. We have no boxes around us. All boxes are thrown away, and we are as free as a bird. And whoever wants to join also is important. I always talk about being collaborative, supporting one another. Whoever wants to support, because we are a group of young people. And the motive is to help move along the young ones in this nation, because we are told that we are the future, we are the leaders. So I don't want to say future leaders. The future begins now. And if you want to help in any way, please always reach out and help, because we are young people. We are young people. And if you elders are there and seeing young people taking up the lead, I think it's important. It's key, it's imperative that you come on board and help. So please, we ask in kindly, and hopefully we would get to hear from you. And yes, so now I've also mentioned envy on the list of things we want to talk about. I think it's important we talk about envy. Normally, oftentimes we do, they are intertwined, I may say, being envious and being jealous. But I can give a brief, just a brief definition from what I've got to gather so far. And then the definition of envy: when you are envy, it means the painful feeling of wanting what someone else has. It could be like the attributes or the possession, right? That is being envy. Now, being jealous has a thin line, and that is to say, if you are jealous, you feel threatened and protective or fearful of losing. So the difference would then be being envious is like wanting what someone else has. It could be in terms of attributes, it could be the possession of that person. While when you're jealous, it's like the fear, something that you already have, so you're fearful that you're going to lose that. Now, I think it's important that we talk about this because I think we are challenged in so many ways. Mohammed, I always say, as humans, there are attributes that that are natural in us, but it's about how well you nurture that. It's about how you see life. It's about how well you love and care for yourself. It's about how well you just don't doubt yourself. It's about how well you don't let that fear consume you. Because I think it's not bad from my perspective. I think it's not bad when you are envious. What do I mean by that? For instance, okay, let's say I want to see myself mingling with people, perhaps in the communication, in the public relations domain. You get it. And I see someone who is doing extremely well in that domain. That is my domain. And I've seen someone who is doing extremely well. And I'm envious of that person because I want what that person has. Of course, we are all unique and different in our various ways. But what is it that the person has that I think I could add? So what that would do to me as a personal being, me, is that I'll try to find out, if not go and read your biography and see how well you started and see how you got there and see some of the things that you're doing that are really impressive. Now, why am I doing that? I am doing that because I want to get what you get. I want to be where you are. That is, I'm envious of you and I'm working towards getting where you are, if not even be better. You get it? So to me, it's not entirely bad. Sometimes it's how we take things that make things not all right. Because if you're just stuck in one place and wanting what someone else has, and you're not putting in any effort, and you're taking that to affect you in a negative way, then that is wrong. That is really, really wrong. Right?
Indeed.
Okay, on the other hand, it could be you're being jealous of that person. That is, okay, you're being jealous. That is, you've got something, right? Most would say being territorial. You've got something. So you're jealous of other people getting to where you've gotten or achieving what you've achieved. I think that in its entirety is bad. That in its entirety is bad because what we believe Generation Next, and I think it's a problem that, especially in this country, is a problem that we face because sometimes you see certain people, they have their own business, they've boomed, they've gone really well, and if anybody else is trying to get up, especially when young people are coming up with their ideas, business plans, otherwise, you get it, instead of helping them to grow, you kind of kill them. It's a problem we face in this country, and most businessmen would tell you the problem with Gambia is businessmen are not helping other people to come up, or the businessmen are not helping one another. So this is a very, very, very bad attribute for this country, and I think it's a major problem why the Gambia is not moving. And if we really, really want to see the Gambia move, we have to kill that jealousy syndrome. We have to definitely kill that jealousy syndrome. Mohammed, maybe you may want to say something.
Yeah, thank you very much. I think that jealousy, envious, very similar in terms of the attributes, as you say. But looking at envy, being envious, sometimes it can be it can have a positive impact if you take it positively, but it can also have a negative impact if it is taken negatively, right? An example, you have been promoted in an organization, and then you meet me in that organization, you came before me, and you are the one that is being promoted. I am not promoted, for example. Now, I may be envious about that in a positive way by trying to understand what is it that you have done to be where you are today. What are you doing differently that I'm not doing to help me become better off? You understand? I want to understand how you are able to comport yourself to have this opportunity that I don't have. I can be envious of that because I also want to be promoted, right? But if I am taking that negative, let's say, well, you meet me here, and how are you promoted? I'm not promoted. And then I try to become envious of what you have and then create problems for you or try to become a nuisance or anything that is going to be a hindrance for your progress, by creating anything that can disturb you, that can even become enmity between us or sure. So envious can be taken in both sides, depending on how the person take it. Yeah. If you take it positively, it's more helpful to you than if you take it negatively. On the other hand, jealousy, as you put it, right? It has a total negative impact. You understand? If you have the opportunity and you don't want others to have that same opportunity that you have, then that's is bad. That is not good at all, right? You want to have the opportunity and make sure you also help others to become better. Like we are crying out here all the time in Generation Next. Why are we doing this? Because we want each and every young person to have an opportunity to understand and hear from the story of others who may have gone through the same things or similar things that they are in the position today, to help them, motivate them to realize that there is still possibility in this world. You can still make it in this life as long as you do A, B, C, and D, and you're following the footsteps of those that are before you and the things they have done right to make it better. That will not create jealousy, right? So jealousy is not a good thing. We shouldn't even encourage it among ourselves. It creates enmity. It's a problem in the society. If you have, don't stop others from not having. In fact, you should be a catalog to help others to also have the same opportunity that you have. But if you want to be the only one, then it's a problem, right?
Yeah. Yes. It's a big, big, big problem. Information, like I always say, is meant to be shared. You don't want to die with it. After all, when
Yeah.
you're gone, the world becomes difficult because if you're not sharing information, oh baby, that's bad for this nation. So I encourage us all to be flexible. I encourage us
Yeah.
all to know that we are human. Humanity is important, it's key. And if you
Mhm.
can extend a hand in helping anybody, because trust me, the hand you extend, you never know when you will need that hand again. I remember someone told me a story. I was really, really fascinated by it. Now, the story is the guy, helped to introduce someone to a particular company. And
Mhm.
eventually, he no longer works for that company. Now, because he helped introduce a guy to work for that particular company, remember, now he no longer works for that company. Now, eventually, that very guy that he helped to work for that company became the manager. Could you imagine? Became the manager of that company. And what happened then? He
Mhm.
helped the very guy that helped introduce him to that company to come back and work for that company. Now, the
Yeah.
guy left due to some reasons that they have, discrepancies they have. But because the guy is now the manager, because he helped introduce that guy to this company, the guy becomes a manager and the guy helped him back. So it's important that we help one another because you may not know when you would need help. Please, let's do that. I encourage us to all to do that. And Generation Next, like Mohammed says, that is our motive. That is what we believe. We believe in extending a hand. We believe in helping one another. We believe that since we are the future leaders and we think that the way our country is being managed, generally, youth are left behind in decision making and other things. Perhaps things are really, really improving. However, we still feel that it's important that we are involved in that decision making because until we are involved there, perhaps the decision that may be taken could not possibly be favorable to all youth. And I believe that he who feels it knows it, and he who knows it feels it. So we feel it and we know it. It means we should be given the space. So that's really key. And I'm happy, Mohammed, you do well on that. The other thing I want us to talk about is self-care and self-love. This is also another key important. It's all about yourself. Today, that's what we're
Yeah.
talking about. It's about you. Because if you're being the reason you're not growing, you must look at yourself and say, why am I not growing? Try to
Yeah.
analyze, try to question yourself. Questions are not just meant for external beings, they're meant for you as an internal being. So try to question yourself, why am I not moving? What is keeping
Yeah.
me? Right? So we felt the need to come up with these things, and at least we are sure that by the time you clear some of these things out of the way, I'm sure you'll be one step ahead. So we talk about self-care, we talk about self-love. I've done a little research, and it says self-care, it's taking care of yourself physically, mentally, while self-love means showing kindness to yourself. What do I mean by this? That is to say, self-care is the first step to loving and embracing yourself. Learn to listen to yourself. You need to learn to listen to yourself and also be in tune with your body, because oftentimes your body would communicate something to you. Maybe, for instance, you get up in the morning, you're feeling all crampy, or you're feeling you have perhaps headache, or you're just feeling something that is not normal. So it's incumbent upon you as self-care, taking care of yourself, to identify, why am I not feeling, or why am I feeling this certain way? Why am I feeling? You get it. So I think it's important and it's key that we try to inflict self-care. We love ourselves first, because there's a saying that says, if you don't love yourself, it'll be difficult for you to love anybody. You know why? Why it will be difficult? Because it means you are dependent on external forces to make you happy. And the thing that you could get from there is external forces would not always be there to make you happy. So it means you would be in a position where you always get sad. Even if you get happy, it's not a lasting happiness. It's just a happiness that will be there within a flash, and then you get back to being sad and being rotten. So try to.
I just want to highlight this. Happiness is from within. You know, if your happiness is from an external source, then that is only temporary. It's not going to last forever, because what if that thing is no longer there? Then the happiness is gone. So it is from within that you have to be content. You have to be someone who is just happy, with or without external circumstances that people may think that will be the passive happiness. Now, self-care, self-love, as you rightly state, you know, one's development, one's progress is in oneself. You know, you have to take your progress in your own hand. You may have some people who are going to support you, who are going to give you the right tools, the right guide. But if you're not ready to move, you can't move from anywhere. You understand? For example, you've taken a bold step by going to school and for your education. That is, you are developing yourself. Yeah. And this is what is going to help you to be progressive, to make an impact, to become somebody better off. Right? In as much as people give you support, people guide you, if you're not developing yourself, then your progress will be limited to where you are. You understand? So self-care will start from you developing yourself. Work on yourself. Try to become the better you from the previous you. You know, we all started from somewhere, and then every now and then we try to be better than where we are before. That is how you can be. That is what your self-care would be, your self-love would be. And at the end of the day, this is also going to reflect on the people around you, because you're going to impact them. They're also looking at what you're doing. Somebody out there can learn from the steps you're doing, even without approaching you, because you are doing well for yourself. And they are looking at you from that perspective. They also try to emulate and copy the steps that you're taking to become better.
Yeah, very key. And it's important that you elaborated on that as well, because I believe in the law of attraction. As I'm growing, things are growing inside me. And because I said I've dedicated myself to accommodating, what do I mean by to listen more, to read more? And in that journey, I realized that the law of attraction plays a critical role, because oftentimes you may ask someone who perhaps in relationship sort of, right? Who do you want to perhaps get married to, or what kind of boyfriend? It could be in other domains as well. Do you want to achieve? And we would be very quick to tell you, these are the qualities I look for in a guy, right? They would very be quick to tell you one or two qualities. But what effort are you putting? Because it's not about the qualities only you're looking for, but it's about what effort are you putting in attracting that guy. Because remember, that guy that you're looking for would also have qualities that they're looking for in a woman. So if you're not meeting up those qualities, fine. You are looking for those qualities. You would be fortunate to see those qualities in that guy. But would that guy be really interested? Because you're not meeting up those qualities. Per se, this is to say, you have to put in the effort in whatever you do. You have to love yourself in whatever you do. Because oftentimes we are shunning ourselves in a sense that, okay, you may have your priority, you may have your target. Okay, I want to see myself in the future here. I want to make sure I attain these things. But how prepared is your body?
Yeah.
How prepared are you physically? Because physically, remember, these are intertwined. When we talk about physically, we talk about mentally, we talk about spiritually. All these are intertwined. So how prepared are you mentally? But how prepared are you physically? Because your mental belief would reflect on your physical appearance as well. So how prepared are you as a person? The same is true when we talk about self-love. We said it gives us the courage to be assertive. It also gives us the courage to be able to make decisions, but also to set boundaries. So it's all key, and it all linked together. If you're able to set boundaries as well, because it's one thing to say I've got my priorities. It's one thing to say I've got my goals, but as Mohammed highlighted here before, you don't just anything that comes. When the wind comes this way, you go this way. When the wind turns and come this way, so where is that boundaries that you've set? Where is that being assertive, that decision that you're able to make for yourself? It's like you're just operating in, how would I say it? Even boats in the sea, of course, they have the direction, they follow the direction of the wind. So it's like you're in a lost zone. So it's important that you set boundaries. You need to set boundaries. It's important that you make decisions. What do I want to achieve? What do I want to become? That's where self-doubt plays a critical role. That's where fear comes in also to play a critical role. So I implore us all to make sure that we adhere to all the things that we talk about. I may want to quickly give a recap of what we've said, and then Mohammed, perhaps you can give your concluding remark, and then I'm sure we could then say hello, hi, bye until we meet again. But yeah, so what we've talked about so far is fear. We've talked about fear. We've talked about doubt, self-doubt. We've also talked about your priority. You ought to be able to set your priorities, right? We also talk about envy, being envious. We talk about being jealousy. We talked about self-love and self-care. So I hope by the time you've listened to this and you make sure it's all applicable in your life, you work towards it, at least one or two things would have changed. Because I believe that one or two things have deeply or massively changed for me, and same is true for Generation Next, same is true for Mohammed.
Yeah,
but the same
right.
To be a replica to you as well.
Absolutely. Like, if you lack a sense of direction in life, then forget it. You won't be able to, like you said, you will be like a wind. Anything that comes along, you follow it. Anything that comes along, you just follow it, because you don't have direction. You don't know what you want. You must have to set yourself targets in life, right? And then make sure that you have set goals to achieve those targets. What is it that you're going to do? And that involves prioritizing those targets. You can't be able to do it all at the same time. Just prioritize yourself. Do it one after the other. Eventually, like I said, eventually, you're going to note that you're making progress in life. Life is a progress. It's a stage. Whatever stage you are, you need to make sure that it is being progressive for you, moving from one to the other. And this can only be if you have a sense of direction. You know where you want to be. You understand? We have all started our life from somewhere, and today we are somewhere else, and we want to be somewhere else tomorrow. So this is how we are doing to make sure that we are making progress. And it doesn't come easy. Nothing in life is easy. Everything that you do, it has to come with challenges. It has to come with ups and downs, but it never stops you from pushing further, right? Despite all the difficulties you may go through today, know that as you keep pushing, as you keep being persistent, as you consistently doing the same and even better, you are certain of making progress in your life. And I'm very glad that we had this conversation today, Shira. It's a pleasure to have me on this platform once again after a long while, because you were away. I'm glad that you come back, and I'm looking forward to 2023, hoping that it's going to be even better and best for us in Generation Next and everyone out there, um, to be a great year for all of us in this coming year. Like I said, we will definitely want your comments, your feedbacks on what you think we can do better as Generation Next. What do you think we can also include in our programming, aside from one-on-ones and the main conversations where we bring topics as it is relevant to the events and circumstances around us. So we will also want to make sure that this coming year, we also come with some different as you want, as you wish, to make it a better place or better platform for you to enjoy watching us and then taking impact from us. So thank you very much, Shira. It's a pleasure sharing this platform with you today. My shout out to every member of Generation Next, from yourself, Shira, from to Hadidiba, SBI, Keba, Samalik in Nigeria, SBI is in the US, and Kemo in the UK, and of course, Fantastica also in the Gambia. So we would like to say thank you all the Generation Next executive members, and also all the members from out there across the world that watch us and then always give us their feedback. We appreciate every point that you have highlighted to us. And we hope that we have already started working on some of the points that Zero Day shared with us and improve ourselves. So we encourage you to continue doing this thing. Thank you very much, Shira.
Thank you so much, Mohammed. And I wish I could also similarly affirm every single person who's watching this, but I would be generous enough to do it in a collective way. So thank you all for being there and for always following us on Generation Next, but also I did thank those people that Mohammed has thanked. That is the Generation Next family, without which the platform would have been, if possible, but very, very difficult. So thank you once again. And as we are approaching or saying farewell to 2022, we hope that all our aspirations come hopefully in good health, inshallah, long life, good health, and all our endeavors come to light. And thank you so much from the entire Generation Next. We're saying Happy New Year, Merry Christmas, and all there is to say. Thank you until we come your way again. It's a bye from the entire Generation Next, and it's a bye from me, Sarah. And please make sure you adhere to some of the discussions we've laid down here. And until we come your way again, stay blessed.